Easter Sunday is usually a day of reflection for Christians around the world. Now, apparently, it's also a day for virtue signaling. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. I don't like picking on certain groups. I don't like picking on anybody who has a certain belief, who likes to live their life a certain way. I've always said, live your best life as long as you're not harming anybody. Easter Sunday is usually a day reserved for Christianity to reflect upon the resurrection of Jesus Christ 3 days after his crucifixion. And while I don't typically bring religion into this channel, I think it's important to talk about that because it's now being exploited in Calgary for virtue signaling purposes. We have said multiple times that due to online hate speech, due to things that are now stomped on by the federal government and by internet censors, I have to be careful about these topics, but this one kind of irks me in a way where Danielle Smith's policies are now under attack once again, that certain communities wish to push back against her recent decision to ban the use of puberty blockers within children under the age of 18, stating that these kind of procedures, any kind of gender altering surgery or puberty blockers, are now to be used by adults only, that there is no definitive proof that these are beneficial or that don't cause harm to children under the age of 18, and that you must be an adult. Much like drinking, much like going to a bar, much like purchasing cigarettes, tobacco, or street legal cannabis. You must be the age of 18. A Calgary church is now deciding to merge a drag show with Easter Sunday service as a sacred act of protest. This is alarming because, again, I've stated my position running for the mayor's seat in Calgary that these drag shows should be for 18 and over. If a church wants to hold these events, that's fine. They can sell tickets. They can do whatever they want to. But what's alarming is that this is now an all ages show on a religious holiday celebrated by many in Calgary. Let's get into the article. Calgary Church is combining its Easter Sunday services with a drag show to show solidarity. Sorry, they're actually virtue signaling with the LGBTQ plus alphabet community in the face of the Alberta government's proposed policy changes that will affect the rights of transgender youth. Again, they're making very clear. Now, the Calgary Herald is a very left-leaning publication for some reason. They didn't used to be, but over the last, 5 or 8 years, inconsequentially, when Justin Trudeau took office, well, they suddenly took a paradigm shift. Now, they were a little more left-leaning prior to that, and I won't say that they've always been neutral in terms of political spectrum, but they've definitely taken the go woke, go broke strategy, particularly in the last 5 to 8 years. But of course, they have to mention Danielle Smith's policies for the effect that it's having on transgender youth. This year, Easter Sunday overlaps the International Transgender Day of Visibility, and the Calgary Unitarian, sorry, I almost said Ukrainian, I apologize. The Calgary Unitarian Church is looking to blend both celebrations into an event that will help recognize transgender and other queer Calgarians in their organization. The Drag Me to Church event will take place at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. Now, I'm going to say right now, for the purposes of this video, that I'm not encouraging anybody to go to this event. I'm not encouraging protests. I'm not encouraging anything. I'm simply reading the article, and of course, I would never promote or institute harm against anybody. I don't see a problem with a church saying that they want to put on an event, that they want to recognize a certain community. The problem here is that they're choosing to do it on a very controversial day because it's a day of reflection for Christians. And again, that's their choice. However, This event should not be for children. That's my concern, and that's my problem with this event. No matter what tradition you're from, I guarantee that you will have people in your community who identify with the alphabet spectrum, whether they are free to say it or not," said Reverend Samaya Oakley, the minister of the Calgary Unitarians. "If we are truly people who believe in the goodness and inherent love that exists in this world, then we would extend that to people on the spectrum." I agree. You shouldn't judge people based on their choices, based on their preferences. Again, do what you want to within the four walls of your home. Live your best life as long as you're not harming anybody, and we're going to get into that. Because it says next here that the all ages event will feature drag performances, drag queen story time. So notice that that's separate from the story time. I've often said that part of the problem when you go to these shows is that they say it's drag story hour and then it's dancers shaking their moneymakers in front of children. And people say, oh, that's not true. They don't do those things. They just read stories. They just want to be accepted and read stories. Well, it says specifically here, the all ages event will feature drag performances, drag queen story time, and multiple speakers. Why do we need speakers to talk to children? I couldn't see anything other more than indoctrination. The webpage for the event calls it a sacred act of protest to support transgender Albertans through the current political climate. Again, using Danielle Smith's policies to villainize what's going on. There's nothing wrong about saying you have to be an adult to do something to your body. I don't understand the problem here. Again, I'm going to be very, very clear. I do not have a problem with the transgender community. I do not have a problem with people's choice. What I have a problem with is all ages event on Easter Sunday. And again, that's my personal belief. You call it whatever you want to. That's a huge, huge, huge misstep for this city. Children don't need to be seeing this kind of stuff. The Alberta government unveiled plans earlier this year to implement new policies regarding children and the LGB rights. The changes include bans on gender reassignment surgery for those under the age of 17, hormone therapy for children aged 15 and under, as well as limits on sports participation and transgender athletes, and a requirement of parental consent for a child to change their name to pronouns at school. Again, all things that parents should have the right to know. If my kid goes to school and identifies as a certain way, I have the right to know what they're doing, what they're saying. I have a right to know what's going on with my child at all times. I'm their parent. That's my job. When it comes to, again, my opinions on medical procedures, on puberty blockers for kids, no, I don't think that they should be allowed. I don't think that you should be able to stop puberty. It's not like it's a natural occurrence in the body. You need to be an adult to make these kind of decisions. You need to be properly educated to make these kind of decisions, not swayed by a community for the purpose of virtue signaling. Proponents have argued the changes are crucial to parental rights, while opponents have said limitations on gender-affirming care will negatively affect trans youths. The government is set to table legislation on proposed changes this fall. Tickets for Sunday service are free and available at eventbrite.com. Now, again, it does state the address of the church, but I'm not going to read it out loud because, again, I don't want this to come across that I am promoting any kind of intolerance or violence or action against a certain community. I'm simply bringing this to the attention of people because this is clown world. This is where we're at. We have churches now saying, let's virtue signal for the sake of feeling like we're inclusive. And again, they have every right to do so. They have every right to invite whoever they want into the confines of the church. However, again, my issue is bringing in children. Children have no place to see drag performances, as this article states. I have my gripes against things like Drag Story Hour. If you're going to separate the two, I don't think children should be allowed to attend either. And again, I have no problem with the drag community, just adults only. I can't take my kids to a strip club and say, well, I'm just informing them of female anatomy. It's educational. It's against the law. They have to be 18 to go inside. That is just the way the world works. And separate privileges for separate groups doesn't affect anybody. We all have the same rights. We all have the same rules. We should all play by the same laws. Well, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you alarmed as I am about this? Again, I apologize for my tone. This is something that really affects me. This is something that really just does not sit well with me. I don't, again, have any discrepancy about people's choices. It's children. You can't bring children into these events. I don't agree with it. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Please make sure as you're clicking that button to turn on your bell for notifications. Join us live every Friday here on the channel for Friday Night Fringe, where we go over everything that's happened in the week prior, everything coming up in the week ahead, and a little bit of back and forth with the community. Now, with it being Good Friday this week, again, try to join us if you can. If not, that's understandable. I hope everybody has a good Easter this weekend and enjoys their holiday. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one.